Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic and a puzzle called Diophantine Addict by Glenn Fletcher. Now, my memory is just getting terrible, but that's fine. I don't think we've ever featured Glenn Fletcher before, so I think it's a debut for Glenn, which is brilliant. It's the word Diophantine that's getting to me, because I've just looked this up. And I think I knew there were Diophantine equations, but I clearly didn't know what they were. I thought there was some word like Diophantine, which is a sort of expansion of a Greek name, that meant dealing with unmanageably long numbers or multiples that neared infinity or something. But I've made that up. If you're a mathematician, and many of our viewers are, and will be going, why the heck doesn't Mark know what Diophantine equations are anyway? Maybe you know what this adjective is about dealing with incredibly long and unwieldy numbers. Or have I made it up? I don't know. Maybe my brain. I'm sure when we were doing a puzzle in a puzzle hunt once about Graham's number, which I think we've mentioned on the channel. I think this came up. Anyway, I don't know. My memory is terrible. My memory is not bad enough, however, to make me forget again to mention our book, the Kickstarter campaign, which is underway, which has 3 weeks more to run, and which we would love to get loads more people involved in so that we can bring you a bigger and better Cracking the Cryptic's Greatest Hits Volume 2. It's going to be a good book anyway, but it'll be better the more people pledge because of the stretch goals. And we've got still a few days left on the Shy and Jovial competition on Patreon, where we're asking you to explain the solution to a puzzle that they've set, a classic Sudoku. And we've had some brilliant ones in now, so do give it a try. If you think you have a very tenuous explanation, maybe don't bother with that, because it's really, it's a brilliant puzzle. Have a look on Patreon. Anyway, within a week, we will be bringing you a new puzzle hunt, and I am still testing one or two of the puzzles in it. So there are some hard ones. I'm here to tell you that. It's going to be very interesting. Looking forward to bringing you that as well. And of course, there's all the apps. Do check out the apps. People are getting to the merchandise as well. I think gradually... Teespring, our merchandise supplier, and YouTube are managing to hook up and make the links in the store tab work, or at least work possibly. They've made it very hard for you to get hold of our merchandise lately, but well done if you have. Several people have, and that's impressive. Anyway, there's a lot there, and there is a lot with happy holidays and Christmas stuff on it, which, I'm not saying it's Christmas, I'm just saying it's coming. And I guess if the holidays begin with Thanksgiving in the States, then holidays are coming too. And that makes me want some Coca-Cola. But anyway, those are all available on the links under the video. I've yabbered away for long enough about those. The first link is to Diophantine Addict. I've told you everything I know. I haven't told you everything I know about the word Diophantine because I did look it up. And it seems to refer to very ordinary algebraic equations which kind of use 4x plus 6y equals something, or I don't know. It didn't seem to be anything very technical to me. So why this puzzle is called Diophantine Addict, I suspect I will never find out. But I'm still very keen to give it a try. The rules are these. Normal Sudoku rules apply, which means 1 to 9 goes in every row, column, and 3x3 box. Digits in a cage don't repeat and sum to the indicated total, so those add up to 35. Digits joined by a black dot must have a ratio of 1 to 2. Digits along an arrow must sum to the number in the attached circle, so the sum of those 3 cells is the same as that one. And the orange line is a palindrome. Digits along the orange line read the same in either direction. So those 2 cells will be the same digit, for instance. So those are the rules. Give it a try on the link under the video. One more thing. Congratulations to Bernhard and Kirsten for getting engaged. I honestly hadn't appreciated that Kirsten's proposal was a genuine one that Simon was making on her behalf to Bernhard, who we found out was sitting in Dubai airport when he saw it, and presumably, well, I believe he did, get quite emotional. And he said yes. And we're bringing people together all the time on Cracking the Cryptic, but not normally that much. Fantastic news. Congratulations to you both. I am sure it is a marriage made in Sudoku heaven. Anyway, let us have a look at this puzzle now. Let's get cracking. And what on earth do we start with here? There's quite a lot to look at. We've got these pills. I didn't mention actually when I was talking about the number in the attached circle that the pills have 2-digit numbers reading that way. So if this was 15, it would have to be written that way round. And if this was 26, it would have to be written that way round. Okay, well this number is 6, 7, 8 or 9 because there's a 3-cell arrow. Oh, it's the same as this number. Those two are the same as each other, but they don't have to be so big. Right, this is an 8-cell cage that adds up to 43. Now, the first thing I know about that is based on the secret, which I sometimes tell my favourite people, and you are amongst them. So I'm going to tell you that a set of the digits 1 to 9, which makes up every row, column, and box in this puzzle and many, many other puzzles, always adds up to the same number, which is 45, because a set of the digits 1 to 9 add up to 45. Now, in this cage, we've got 8 of the digits from 1 to 9, so one of them is missing, and the one that is missing must be the one that would make up the total to 45. So there's no 2 in the cage. Now I know something about parity now. Right, these 2 cells add up to the same as that one. So let's call the total of those 2 cells x. Added on to that one, you've got 2x. That must be even. The same applies down here. So between those 6 cells, we've added 2 even numbers together and we're still even. But the cage total is odd. So those 2 cells must total to an odd number, which is the same as that. So this is odd. I was going to put 5, 7 or 9, but I've worked out it can't be a 5 here because these would have to be the numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then you couldn't make up this arrow using 6, 7, 8 and 9. So it's not 5 down here, it's 7 or 9. Now, if it was 7... oh, no, that doesn't work at all. Right, if it was 7, these would add up to 14, 2 lots of 7. I think this is where the Diophantine equation comes in. I think that what we're looking at in this cage is 3x where that is x and 2y where that is y. Because if this is x, they also add to x, they also add to x, so we've got 3 lots of x. If that's y, they also add to y, so we've got 2 lots of y. So 3x plus 2y equals 43. Oh, but x and y obviously can't be bigger than 9. And, well, I mean, I'm afraid I do this the Sudoku way rather than the maths way. I'm sure there is a very quick way of simultaneously equating that inequality. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do instead is say, if these were 7s, if this was a 7, this lot would add up to 21. That bunch of cells would have to add up to 22 to make the 43 total, and that would make this one an 11. And I don't think that's going to happen. So this is a 9. They add up to 27. These now add up to 16. And that's an 8. And there's no 2 in the cage. No, here's a better question. Well, that wasn't a question, that was a statement. Here's a relevant question. Where does 7 go in this cage? Don't try and put it on one of these 9 arrows because it needs to go with 2, and we've established 2 is not in the cage. So 7 must be on the 8 arrow along with a 1. The other cells in the cage are 3, 4, 5 and 6, which pair up to make the 9. Now, these cells can't be from 3, 4, 5, 6 or 9. We can't have a 7 on a black dot because we're not allowed to put either 3.5 or 14 in this cell. Cruelly, the Sudoku gods won't allow it. And there we get stuck. again. But okay, now I think this is a guide. I think this finger-shaped cage is a guide to how we're meant to use Diophantine equations in this puzzle. Oh, this is really, really interesting indeed. Okay. Now, I'm going to colour this box red. I'm going to colour this 3x3 box yellow and this area blue. And then I'm going to put Mr. Purple in a cell on its own there. Now, why am I colouring these? Because these are the totals of all the arrows that reach from the pills. And we can make a pretty fair estimate of how much the total of red, yellow and blue is. Red obviously adds up to 24. Blue obviously adds up to 35 by the secret, which I told you earlier, and which you have not shared with anyone. These yellow cells add up to 45. So in yellow, blue and red, we have 104, which is a huge number that I don't normally think about in Sudoku. Now this purple is not going to be odd, I now know. We've got 104 already, which is even. The whole point of colouring red, yellow, blue and purple is they are all the cells on these 4 arrows, which are 2 each from the 2 pills. So whatever the arrows add up to, that's X, that's another X. So that's 2X there. Here, say that's Y, and that's another Y, that's 2Y. So 2X and 2Y is 104 plus that. So it's got to be an even total, which is why that is 2, 4, 6, or 8. And it's not 8, actually. And that's because I'm applying the secret to this box. We know the box adds up to 45. We know the blues add up to 35. And that means these 3 cells add up to 10. If you were to put an 8 here, you'd have to put 2 1s there. So these 3 add up to 10. Now I was about to say, therefore, these 3 add up to 10. And that's remarkably dumb, because 10 is the one thing those 3 don't add up to, in fact. Those 2 are the same as those 2 in total as well as in actual numbers. And if these 3 add up to 10, and that one can't be the same as that, then those 3 absolutely don't add up to 10. Now, it doesn't really tell me anything about this cell at all. But anyway, just explaining the workings of my fevered and mad brain. Now, what do we do? We've got this 104 total. No, we haven't. We've got 104 plus this. So 106, 8, or 10. Right. Divide that by 2, and we get the total of these two two-digit numbers. So it is 53, 4, or 5. These two-digit numbers add up to 53, 4, or 5. So the starting digits are 1, 2, 3, or 4. I don't think they're ever going to be a 4. These 4 cells can't add up to 40. These 5 can't add up to more than 39. You could put 6, 7, 8, 9 in there and a 9 there, and that would be 39. That's the max. So neither of those adds up to 40. Now, is 1 an actual starting possibility? It is on that arrow, but it's not here. That has to add up to at least 21. 6 different digits, always do. Now here, no, yes, the way to look at this is not by single arrows, but by the pair. Those 6 cells, again, 6 different cells, because they're all in the same yellow box, they must add up to at least 21, plus the 24 in these red cells is 45. Divide that by 2, and the minimum total for this cage, or this pill, is 22. And it can't be actually 22, so it's something like 24 to 29, or, well, how high in the 30s can we go? Okay, the maximum for these 6 instead of the minimum is 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4, which is 39. Plus those takes us to 63. Divide that by 2. You get 31 and 31 and a half. So 31 is the maximum here. Now, Could this actually be 31? 24, 27, 28. These would have to add up to 38. They would be 987653. These would be 124. Oh, I don't know, that would be a 6. Okay, it does seem possible. Oh, these can't add up to 30. Well, they can. They can add up to 30. They can't add up to 30-something, by which I mean more than 30, because this can't be a 0 in Sudoku. I don't think that can be a 3 anymore, because those 4 have a maximum of 30. Yeah, okay. That's a 2. Now, if this did add up to 30, or if this was a 31 here, what do we say? I don't know, I think it depends on this. Yes, I think this could be 23 or 24, so... Okay, I'm not ruling that out yet. I need to find something else in this puzzle. Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? There's so many different things to be looking at. Now, okay, if that was a 6, we'd have a 3-1 pair here to make up the box total to 45. That would put a 1-3 here. That can't work, because this arrow would have to have a minimum of 2, 4, 5. They add up to 11. That's the minimum, and it's not a Sudoku number. So that's not a 6. Now, can it be a 4? The only way it can be a 4 is if these two are a 1-5 pair. Then you get 1-5 here. This arrow becomes 2, 3, 4. Oh, this doesn't work at all for a lovely reason. Okay, now I'm going to posit to you what I've just learnt, and it's weird. 1 cannot be in those cells, because then you couldn't put a 9 in this row. Now, you're asking, what on earth are you talking about, Mark? And I understand that question, but it is definitely right, and I'll explain it. It's quite simple, actually, to see the explanation. Once you bear in mind that these two cells are the same digit because of this little arrow. If you put a 1 in there, by the palindrome, it's in there. By the rules of arrow, by Sudoku rules, these 3 arrow cells can't have a 1 in. Now, the minimum they can be is 2, 3, and 4, which automatically puts a 9 in green, both in the circle and obviously here. And if you've got a 1 and something here, which can't be more than 5, where does 9 go in this row once you stick a 9 here? And the answer is nowhere. And you must stick a 9 there if you're putting a 1 on these bits of the palindrome. A 1 on those bits of the palindrome forces that to be 2, 3, 4, makes that a 9, and that stops 9 appearing anywhere in this row because of this 9 that we actually identified earlier, which is fabulous. Okay, so there's no 1 in these cells, and therefore this is not a 4. This is now a 2. Now we know the total of red, blue, plus yellow, plus Mr. Purple, who's a 2. Anyway, before we do that, this is either a 1-7 or a 3-5 pair to get us to 10, but beautifully this cell is fixing that as well. We can't put a 1-7 pair in there or we crush row 6, column 2. So that is a 3-5 pair. That's a 3-5 pair on the other side of the palindrome. These cells now can't have 3 or 5 in. They're either 1, 2, 4 or 1, 2, 6. They definitely include 1 and 2. This is either 7 or 9 in green. This group of cells has a 6 and an 8 in, and either 7 or 9. 2, 3, 5, 6, 8. This can't be a 2 since we got the 2 in purple. And that means this can't be a 1. 2, 3, 5, 6, 8. This is now 1, 4 or 7. That can't be a 9. Of course, the question still remains, where does 9 go in this row? And I just didn't focus on that. Since it can't be there, it could never be there, it could never be there, it's always going to be in one of these 3 cells, which are now a 6, 8, 9 triple. Green is actually 7, where I thought it was going to be 9. This is a 1, 2, 4 set. I might have mismarked that earlier. I was trying to say it was either 1, 2, 4 or 1, 2, 6, but we've got to the right number. Now, this arrow also adds up to 7, and it doesn't use a 1 or a 4 because of our snooker break triple here of 1, 4, 7. So that has to be a 2, 5 pair. That takes 5 out of the 9 arrow down here. That takes 3 and 6 out of the other one. Oh, look, these have this lovely relationship. Again, these two are the same. Let's make them orange. And these remaining 3 cells in this box are 3, 6, and 9. Well, obviously, if those two are adding up to orange because of this relationship, then we can put 3, 6 as a pair there, and 9 in orange. And now in this column, we've got 9, 8, a 1, 7 pair, and a 4, 5 pair. 2, 3, and 6 still to go in the column. Oh, this can't be 9 on a black dot. 1, 2, 4, 8, 5 has to be in one of these 2 cells. Okay, what about the 10 cage? Yes, the 10 cage cannot be 6, 3, 1. If this was a 6, you're not allowed to put 3 and 1 there because 3 is going to be in one of these cells, so it's not a 6. If it's a 2, these add up to 8. Oh, but without using a 3 or a 6. They would be 1, 7. If it's a 3, they add up to 7. Ah, but they can't be 3, 4, 2, 5, or 1, 6. If that's a 3, you have to put 2 and 6 here. And that takes all the possible pairs out of there. That's lovely. So that's a 2. And what did I say it was? 1 and 7. It can't be 5 because we'd need a 3. So the 5 is placed in the column. This is a 4, 8 pair. That can't be a 4 now. So the 4 in the box goes here. Ah, silly black dot is not fixed. And that doesn't even have any read across. Oh, that's not nice. That whole trail suddenly was going absolutely swimmingly and now it's run dry. I mean, I could mark that 9 and 7 are in that group and 8 up there, but I can't really see the benefit if I'm honest. So I've got to find something totally different again. It's just going really well. Right. So we must now know the total of blue, yellow, red and purple. I'm going to have to do that again. 80, 104, 106. And this is the remaining Diophantine equation. So 2x plus 2y equals 106. So x and y equal 53. This number plus this number equals 53. So if that was a 3, well, we worked out these arrows will only allow a maximum of 31. It's because of the total here, isn't it? Yes. And that won't work if we're going for 53, because that would have to be 22. So that's not a 3, that's a 2. That's quite interesting. That places 2 on the 7 arrow. Now, we've got 20 and 20 out of the 53. These two add up to 13. Never afraid to fill in a lot of pencil marks. Neither of them can be 7, though, because of the green 7. So we can take 6 and 7 out of both of those cells. There's a 4 looking down at this one, so that can't be 4 and this can't be 9. Now we're down to 3 possibilities. 25, 8 or 9 here. 24, 5 or 8 here. I'm trying to find a shortcut to get to know what the answer is. This black dot? 29 would be quite a big sum. If this was 29 these would all add up to 58. Take away the red 24 and the yellow would add up to 34. Oh, look at 2. Oh, look at 2. First of all, looking at that cell and making it an 8. That's something gained. But look at 2 in this yellow box. Where does 2 go? It goes in one of these 2 cells on the black dot with either a 1 or a 4. Ah, now what I was just asking is interesting. 29 gives an arrow total of 58. Take away the 24 there. These would have to add up to 34. If you use 2 and 4 there, these add up to 28. That is just possible. Oh, but can this individual arrow add up to 29? If you put 6 there, another 23 here, yeah, you could even do that if they could see each other. And you have the added benefit that they can't. Oh no, hang on, if this is 29, none of them can be a 9. So they'd have to add up to 23. 885. Okay, it's still doable. Okay, but if this is 29, 24 here, 34 here, this will have to add up to 11 in a total of 24. So 11 plus 2 is 13. These would have to add up to 11. Oh, maybe these cells are a bit restricted. I've got 2, 3, 5 here and 9, 7 in this row. So these are from 1, 4, 6, 8, which forms a quadruple with that number. Is that right? 2, 3, 5 here. 9 and 7. Yes, that is right. Okay, so we've got a 1, 4, 6, 8 quadruple. So I should have been pencil marking this blue box. It's unusual for me to not pencil mark something I could. 3 and 5 there on the palindrome. We'll come back to that immediately. 3 and 5 on the palindrome. Hasn't fixed how 1, 4, 6, 8 works here. But these are from 1, 4, 7, 9. Now, we could work out what those two represented depending on what these totals are. So, what can they be? Okay, let's go through the permutations. 29 here, we've worked out, makes that lot add up to 34. That lot adds up to 11, 13. We're now aiming for a 24 total, so those add up to 11. Oh, 4 and 7. That's the only way to do that. I'm gonna just... Oh, no, that won't wash, because this would be 24. That would be a 4, so 4 and 7 won't work. There is no way to get those to add up to 11. I'm sure this is right. I'm just going to do this one more time. If that's 29, that's 24, because I have to add up to 53. I'm relying on that deduction. If that's 29, then we've got 58 in these cells. Take out the red 24, we're left with 34 here. Take that away from 45, we've got 11 here. 13, aiming at 24. Those have to add up to 11 without using a 4. No can do. So that's not a 4 and that's not a 9. Right, 28 is still a big number. Let's try that. Well, I suppose actually I could use averaging. If this lot adds up to 2 lots of 28 and that lot is 4 below 28, this lot must be 4 above. That would have to add up to 32. These would add up to 13, plus 2 is 15. We'd be going for a 25 total. These would add up to 10. Ah, they could be 6, 4, or 1, 9. Okay, that's very doable. What about if this is 25 then? Then by averaging 24 there, these add up to 26. These add up to 19, which is quite a big number in this case. We're aiming for 28 this time. 19 plus 21 leaves 7 in these cells. 6, 1. That's interesting. There are some limitations. So we've either got 6, 1. Let me just corner mark those. Or these add up to 10 when we're going for 25. So they would have to be 6 there and 4 here, or 1 there and 9 here. Oh, that didn't remove all that many possibilities, but took some out. Oh, okay, come on. Make some very gradual. Oh, look, 9 can't be there, and now it's not there. It's in this cage. That'll do. 9. Ah. If this was a 1, things won't work, because that 1 would have to go in this cage as well. Then the other 2 digits apart from 9 and 1 would have to add to 14, and with one of them being 3 or 4, that ain't going to happen. So that is 2 or 7. The trouble is, either you can put 7 in the cage, in which case the cage would consist of 9, 7, 5, 3 specifically, or that's a 2, and that is a lot less restrained. Well, restricted, although it would put a 2 there. I don't know, and that's 4 or 5, but if it's a 5, it can sit there. I just feel like there's something else going on here that I'm not privy to. Yeah, I'm really not seeing something. That 5-8 pair, they're both looking at that cell, which is a totally uninteresting cell otherwise. Not sure. 3, 6. 2s and one of those and one of those. It's a sort of X-wing. Oh, okay. This adds up. If that's an 8, this group of cells adds up to 28. Plus 8 is 36. Then those two add up to 9. Or maybe I know what they're made up of. I have to go through the process here again. So if that's 28, this is 25, that's 26, that's 19. This is right, I think. Okay, so that would be 19. These would be the ones, the 6 and 1 to make. Yeah, so if that's 8, this is 8, 6, 1, 2. Ah, and the two cells that make 9 above them would have to be 4 and 5. That's interesting. Now I might not leave those pencil marks there. When it's 25, those add up to 25 plus a 5 is 30, and then these two add up to 15. Now they can't be 9, 6, because we must be using 9 or 6 here. If that's 25, 28, 24, 32, those add up to 13. I don't know, maybe this isn't obvious. 15, if it's 25, those add up to 10. They must use a 6 or a 9. So this couldn't be 6, 9. So if they add up to 15, they're 8, 7. We know the order for that as well because of this 1, 7 pair. So look, now I've got a 5, 8 pair in the column. Wow. I mean, that's just algebra permutations. I don't know that that's very Diophantine. Maybe that's just glyphate. Anyway, we'll put a 5 here because of the 5, 8 pair there and a 5 here. I don't know if that's going to do us any good at all. We didn't have any 5 possibilities along the row. Oh, come on. How can I not be knowing what's going on still? I don't, though. That is very frustrating. I'll tell you something I do know. 1, 2, 7 there. These two cells can't be from 5 or 8 because of the pair we've established. So they're from 3, 4, 6 or 9. This one can't be a 3. 1 is somewhere here, but we would know where if we knew there was a 1 in one of these cells, and I don't know that. Oh, crumbs, what do I know? It must be about how these individual arrows make the sums. But I guess if that's 25, which makes these two add up to 10, this is whatever's left over, the other sum of 10 plus... Yeah, it doesn't resolve anything extra, just thinking about that as far as I can see. What about this red cage? We've got 9 in it. Now, if that was a 7, then the cage has to be 9753, because it can't be 9744. That would put 3 here, 5 here, and a 9-7 pair here. 5 and 3, that would be a 6. Oh, this would be an 8. There's nowhere for 8 to go here. That's right. Okay, what I'm saying is, if this is a 7, or indeed in any way if 7 goes in this cage, it would have to be in one of those two cells, but you'd have 7 and 9 definitely in the cage, which would add up to 16. The other two digits can't be 4 and 4 to make 24. They must be 3 and 5. Yes. So you have 9, 7, 3 and 5 in the cage. That's a 3, so this can't be 8. Oh no, what? Oh, this can be 8. I thought I was onto it. If you have 9, 3, 5, 7 in the cage, that's an 8 because it can't be 5 anymore. Then you have 1, 4, 6 across the bottom. That can work. 9, 7, 5, 3 here. You've got a 9 there, so that can't be 9. Oh, maybe this is right. Oh, that's so annoying. It would have been so helpful to stick 3 and 5 here. Well, okay, let's work on the consequences again. If you have 9, 7, 5, 3 here, that's 28. Now these add up to 32. And these have to add up to either 24 or 21. These add up to 32. These add up to 13. But they can't use 2 or 5, obviously. I can't see a way through. It's like there's a fog closing over my brain every time I try and work out the permutations here. 4, 1, 7. If that was a 7, we get 9, 7, 5, 3. The 5 would be there, the 3 would be there. One, 4, 6. That would have to be the 6 because of that 1, 4 pair. Oh, I don't know. That uses either 1 or 4. Does that mean anything at the top? Not to me. That's 4, 6, 8 or 9. Oh, 2 can be placed in box 2. Hadn't seen that coming. It's not quite the last 2 in the grid. There's a little X-wing of them down here. Oh, come on. There must be a way through. There must be a way through here now. 9, 7, 2. There's a 1 in one of those 3 cells. That's not telling me anything, I don't think. must be about this final column somehow. That's what I think. These either add up to 10. Sorry, I will be back in a second. Right, sorry about that. Now, come on. Let's hope little break has energized something. I bet it won't. Well, there's a 7 in one of those two cells and a 7 there. So one of these 3 is 7. Nothing. Oh, okay. These, they can't use 5 or 8 or 2. So they're going to add up to, what was it we worked out? 19 was one of the possibilities, or 11. Let me just check that. 25, that's either 26 or 32. So this is either 19 or 13. And it can't use 2, 5 or 8. Well, 19, oh, it's got to use a 3. There's no 3 in these possibilities. Ah, so 3's in one of those two cells, one of these. Simon, I don't have time. So this is either 19 or 13 using a 3. So it could be 3, 7, 9. If it was 19, it would have to be. Is that all right? 3, 7, 9, you get a 4 here, 5, 8, 2, and that's 1, 6. Or it's 13 using a 3. Then it's 3 and 2 numbers that add up to 10, and they could be 1, 9 or 4, 6, depending on what's not being used there. That's not it. What is going on? Come on. It's in this red box. This red box is teasing me. I think 9753 was very difficult. It leaves 146 here, which keeps 6 out of that. Keeps 9 out of that. Oh. Yeah, if it's 9753, you've got a 5-3 pair there, a 9-7 pair there. So this is a 6-8 pair. That's 9. 71492. What on earth do you do with the other numbers from 3, 5, 6, and 8? I don't know. Seven, 4. I don't see what to do. Okay, maybe I should think about something different. It's so annoying. If that's a 4, then that forces 4 into this cage. Then you've got 9 and 4. Another 2 making 11. Now, is there something to stop them being 5, 6 or 8, 3? Okay, what I'm noticing at least about that is if that's a 4, then 5 and 8 are going to get used up in that cage, just as they are going to if that's a 7. I don't quite know what this means, but I think it does mean something. If this cage adds up to, if it's, how would you keep 5 or 8 out of this cage? You could, if say you're not allowed to have 5 or 8 in it. So you've got 9. You're not allowed 5, 8 or 2. You've got to make up another 15 using 7, 6, 4, 3, 1. You can't do that. 7, 6, 4, 3, 1. 3 of them to make 15 is intriguingly not possible. So 5 or 8 is in this cage, and it's in that row. This 5 and 8 must be in this row, both of them. Now that means 8 is in one of these two cells, and I've got a 5-8 pair there, so it's here. That's weird. That is funky and weird. It doesn't, unfortunately, mean it can't be on the arrow again. It certainly can. It hasn't. What I was really working on was if 5 and 8 can't be in these cells, I suppose that is the corollary of that. Although I was wondering what they can be. Now they either add up to 24, 26, 31, 14 or 11, depending on whether that's 5 or 8. And they're not allowed to have a 9 and 8. Oh, they can't have a 5 in. So where does 5 go in the bottom row? It goes there. 4 there, so that can't be 4. So one of these is a 2. Come on, we're getting somewhere now. These either add up to 11 or 14 is, I think, what I've just said. 24, 26, 34... or 31. Yes, that's right. 11 or 14. They don't use 9, 8 or 5. Yeah, that's what, or 2. So if it was 11, there'd be a 1. And it could be 3, 7. Oh. Yeah, it could be 3, 7, or it could be 4, 6. That's really irritating. That would use up the other 3. And if it was 14, again, it could be 1, 6, 7. I suppose it could be 3. Is 7 always in it? It's interesting. No, 1, 4, 6 was one of the possibilities for 11, so 7 is not always in it. Oh, come on. This must do something. 8. Yes, 8 up there, 8 down here. The only place for 8 in column 7 is there. Now, can those add up to 20 to make this 28? Yes, 9, 7, 4. Of course they can. Can they add up to 17? I'm sure they can to make that 25. 9 to 17, 9, 7, 1. Yeah, they can. Or indeed 4, 6, 7. So that was a total dead end suddenly. Oh, here's an annoying thought that I've only just had. Can 1 be in this cage? And I think I actually had a thought about that earlier from thinking about whether that could be a 1. I don't think 1 can be in this cage. Because that's not enough with the 4 or the 3 in it. So there's a 1 in one of those two cells. This isn't a 1. Right, and this arrow, how about this arrow? If that was 2, 1, would be on 11. We'd need either 17 here being a 9, 8 pair, which is actually quite plausible. No, because that would make it up to 28. So you'd have a 9, 8 pair and an 8. If it was 8, 2, 1, that would be 11. If this was a 5... these would have to add up to 14, including an 8. They would be 6, 8, and that is fine. Okay, if it's 8, 4, 2, 14. These would either have to add up to 11, including an 8. They can do that. Or to 14, including a 5. They can do that as well. Right, that is useless. 5, 9, 1, 8. This can't be a 1, or a 5, 8, or a 9, or a 2. Still no further forward at this point. This is so annoying. I haven't worked out that 7 can't be in here. It can be. If it's 9, 3, 5, 7. We've got 3, 5. A 9, 7 pair, and that's an 8. We must have a 5 here. It's adding up to 28 on this arrow with 13, and a 2 here is 15. So either 1 or 4 plus that is 13, so that would then be a 4 and this would be a 9. Oh. Can I use the 3 in one of these cells? Not quite. It's interesting though, the only places for 3 in this row are there, which I don't know anything about, and here, which would stop this being a 3. That would make this a 4-8 pair. So a 3 here would make this 7, 2, 8, 4. Oh, then what? This is a very hard finish. I am here to tell you this finish is cruelly hard. Is there something about those being 25 and 28 that makes this easy? I just don't think there is. I don't see what it is, if there is. 7 in this row. No, not interesting. I was wondering if there'd be a 1, 2, 7 triple somewhere. I can't see why there has to be, or alternatively couldn't be. I haven't thought about this arrow much because it's so unconstrained, unfortunately. I still think that's the case. Maybe I should think about what happens if this is 3, 7, 9, which is one of the possibilities. Then we get a 4 here and an 8 here. As soon as I start trying to think about that, my mind flips onto column 4 and how we're meant to be using this 1, 4 pair. Oh, I don't know, there must be a 6 in one of those 2 cells. Okay, well at least I'm going to rule a 6 out of here. There must be a 6 in one of those 2, a 6 in one of those cells, i.e. what I'm telling you is there's been no 6 in those, so there must be a 6 in those, and that's not a 6. And I mean, that is the tiniest infinitesimal marginal gain. 7 is in one of these 3. Is there really a logical way of working out how this carries on from here? If that's a 2, this is a 4, then 4 goes in the cage, which it certainly can. Okay, this is quite constrained though. If this was 28, this has to go 8, 4, 2. Is that right? Or could it have gone 8, 2, 1, 9, 8? No, it can't do that. So it has, if that's 28, it has to go 8, 4, 2, and then a 5, 9 pair down here. Oh, and the 4 then that goes here has to be in the cage and has to be there, making that an 8. This must be 6, and this will be 9. Now, with the 4 in the cage, we've got a 5, 9 pair in the cage is 14 plus the 4. That would be a 6. No, hang on, that doesn't work. I've got it. I've got it. I think. Right, if this is 28, this has to be a 4, and 4 will go in the red cage. That becomes a 2. The line, so the arrow so far is adding up to 14. These have to add up to 14, and with an 8 there, they have to be 9, 5. The 4 must go in the red cage, and it goes there, and its partner to make up the total of 24 is a 6. We've now got 4 there, 5 there, 9, 6 here, but the 4 there has forced an 8 here. So now we have 9, 6 and 8 all looking at this cell, Mr. Dark Grey, who would die. And that would be if this was a 28 cage. That's monstrous if that's the actual way. Vicious. Anyway, got there logically. Nobody tell me that that's bifurcating, that's logic. You can if you want, I don't mind. But I think it is logic. Anyway, 25 there, 28 here, given our Diophantine equation. Now, that does mean that these add up to 28, plus the 8 there is 36. These add up to 9. They are 4, 5. No 4s in those cells, which are getting very limited. I don't know that that's 4, 2 yet. I'm not going to rely on that. Oh, there is an 8 in one of these cells, and there's a 9 in the cage too. 17 and a 3 or a 4. It must be 9, 8, 3, 4. That's nice. That is nice. Right. So the cage is 9, 8, 3, 4. Oops, didn't mean to stop it being red, which I'm quite enjoying. So there's no 8 there. There's no 3 there. There's no 4 there. And this cell on the black dot can't be a 9. Right, so we're down to that. Anyway, we get 1, 6, 7 down here, in which that's a 6. Or we can fill in 1 and 7. Then we can do 2. Now we know it's 4, 2. So on the arrow we have 14. These two add up to 11. They're 3 and 8. That cage is suddenly finished. Mr. Gray has an existence as a 6. Feeling the fresh, pure air of logic here. Now, that's not 4. We must, in the 28K case, never mind, let's do this arrow. These add up to 18. These add up to 7. They're a 1, 6 pair. I can fill them in. Let's go and do 7s and 1s on the other side and come back and do a 7 and a 9. Which makes this a 1 and a 6. I don't even have to do the adding up anymore. Now we've got a 7, 9 pair there that are not resolved, but I'm sure we'll get to them in a moment. 8 and 3 up here. Now I've got a 3 X-wing that I'm going to bother to use to place a 3 here. Can do the 8 and the 4. That's a naked 1, 6 and 5. 4, 6 and 9 to go in this box. 4 there, 6, 9. I can do the 7 and the 1. I can do the 8 and the 3. And I've just got box 3 and a little bit in box 6 to finish off. Let's just get it right. 9, 3, 7, 1, 7, 9. Well, thank you, Mr. Gray. That took a long time. That is a hard, hard puzzle to me. If there are better ways through that, and if they're because of maths, well, I tip my hat to you. Interesting one, Glenn. Don't send me one that hard again. I don't like it. I do like it. I like it a lot. I'm joking. I don't like feeling inadequate, but I do like the fun of getting through it. So that is good fun. Thanks very much for watching us, as always. I hope you had a go at that puzzle. I hope you found it a bit easier than I did. And hope to see you soon on the channel. Bye for now.